as when you need to get started, when you're hoping to have your business stood up. And these are all questions that are very important if we're to kind of sell to the workers that they're going to have jobs and such. Because right now what they see is a lot of construction and they don't have job opportunities because you've subcontracted that work out. And they just see it as a disruption of their way of life and a loss of their property. So if you'd like us to be your advocates to reframe that, we need to understand what your priorities are as a business as far as timelines and getting started. And the revenue, as we mentioned, would enable us to be able to facilitate your timeline in that you need permits and inspections and things like that we could move into support for you. But we need to have an understanding of the phased plan as you've set out and what you're seeking as far as bringing this to full fruition.
Yeah, and also like most of like our farmers, they, it's the property that they own are like a family heritage. So they won't they're not looking to sell like the property, even though like, the property value, increases but the property tax, is going to increase on the appraised value. So only what they're seeing is that their property tax increase. So we have to compensate that.
So I think on what I'm hearing is a little bit of disgruntledness, that's a word, regarding not having conversations with us regarding the land. But on that piece, I would just encourage you to have that bit of conversation with the government, because we
did have the conversation with the government, not necessarily us, these two townships, but the other two mayors have already talked with the national government, and they're like on the same page. So that's why we're just talking to you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the agreement was made with the national. Yeah, but the agreement was made with the national government, and
which agreement? You made an agreement
with Terry Land. Yeah, for the land. I mean, it was made with the national government. They knew who we were, and they knew our intent. So the disgruntledness of us coming into France, I mean, this was made with the French national government. So
yeah, exactly, with the national government, not with us. So you have to make a deal. That's why we're like negotiating the deal. So would you rather have your construction delayed and everything, like a bad press, or would you rather we can negotiate a deal?
I think what we're trying to do is move you from your initial plan that you set up with the government into something that's executable with our city. Because while you may have just had an exchange on property, you're going to struggle moving forward with construction and development and hires and these situations if we don't work together between Mouse and the city, unless those were things that were already worked out in your master plan.
Right, definitely. I mean, we're looking to work with you so we can resolve the problem, the issue with our constituents. Yeah.
So I think that I think we're open to something. Of course, on our end, we would prefer to, if we were to make some kind of payments, we would prefer for that to be through payroll tax, particularly because, regarding the annual payments, we feel that that's something that the government should essentially be responsible for because they were the ones that struck the deal.
Okay. So why don't we if we can meet you halfway, can we just do half payroll tax, half revenue stream? Because we can't do just only payroll tax. It won't work for us. For the reasons I mentioned earlier. You can talk to your teammate in the break room if you want.
Yeah,
sure. Let us
we're debriefing. We're typing, so just hold on one second.
But
So
I mean, this is
what-
not like the final offer. We still have to bring your proposal to the other two mayors, and so we need to be on the same page, and they have to agree what we agreed upon here.
So you guys collectively want this? Is that safe to say?
Mhm.
I mean, it depends on what you're offering, obviously.
Well, I
Right.
mean, you're benefiting more with the payroll tax
Well,
than they
not
are.
not according to the information we have.
According to the information I have, your towns are going to benefit more because
Well,
our employees come from
your two towns.
your towns. Their situation is a little bit different because those two other towns have issues in regards to
Yes,
roads.
exactly.
and
So
stuff.
that's why we previously agreed upon what we need to negotiate. I mean, what the deal potentially gonna look like. So you have to offer us something so I can bring to the other two mayors so they can agree upon the deal. So if we only our two townships, only us agreed upon this deal, it won't work because we have to get an agreement from the other two mayors, right?
right. We're functioning as a city and as the city manager, and I think that we may agree to disagree as far as the number of workers and the thought that payroll tax will be better. I think we've already agreed that our priority is the annual revenue coupled with the tourist tax on hotels and tourist purchase items. So I think one of the things we might want to look at is we don't need to make any decisions right now. We have a short period of time. What we wanted to convey to you is that we were not a part of the original agreement that you set up with the government. And now as you move past just purchasing land into actually standing up and running your company, we have mutual benefit to gain by working together. We have potential employees that could work for you, but we also have employees that could strike against you. We have some cultural differences in the way we approach things, and we could help blend that with you, preserve our cultural differences, and promote your new recreational products. But we can only do that if it's mutually beneficial. And I think you need to understand that we were not a part of the initial agreement, nor did we get any benefit from it. So if you would like to plan with us, our ask is, what are your priorities so that we can match our permits, inspections, employees, and move them in a direction that supports your company's gains, but also in return, what can we expect as far as employee incentives, preservation of our spaces, timeframes for these permits and inspections, and annual revenue and taxes, because our people are very upset. They don't feel like they were included, and as their representatives, if we don't form a relationship, then truly our people are right, and we may not be able to control what outcome we have, which could affect your ability to get started. So one thing is, maybe you want to go back and talk about it. You've conveyed that that you think that our disagreements or our way forward is with the government, but we're trying to tell you is we think we need to have a partnership with you. And if you want to think about what those terms are, we've shared some of our priorities. We're asking in turn you share some of yours. And if you'd like to get back to us, or if you'd like to send us some written terms, we can be in receipt of that and get back together.
Right. And back to our original offer, it can be $3 million with no payroll tax, or it can be $2 million with payroll tax, or it can be $2 million annually with tourist tax. Yeah. See which one is the most suitable for you guys.
Yeah. To address, Carolyn, some of obviously your concerns, we want to work together. I think there are if we were to move in the direction of something like annual payments, there would obviously be some contingencies in place. So obviously Mouse has already been started. We're just looking to finish it. I don't think
well. So basically, that's something, you know, as I just talked about, we have the right to bring up like the litigation on your ongoing construction. We can stop the construction like right now. But I mean, we would rather not do it by just bringing you the other option. If we agreed upon a deal, it can be contingent upon the prevention of any construction. Any strikes. We will talk to the other two mayors. We will talk to our constituents, so they won't carry on a strike. Yeah, so you can continue your construction and finish on time.
So I mean, I still think that this doesn't seem to be a matter of Mouse becoming completed at any point. It seems as if this project would still go forward in some capacity, but you know, I think there has to be some give and take in this process. And if we were to give on annual payments, again, there would need to be some contingencies on our part in terms of like expedition of permits, because obviously I think there's some concern from the farmers and from the locals about, especially in the other two towns, about noise and construction. And I think the faster that we get this done, the faster that we can alleviate some of these issues.
Right. Yeah, we can work on that. Yeah, that's what I just talked about. The $3 million deal, you know, incorporates the expedition on the permits, and we will give you a positive press release, and you know, the prevention of a strike. So I can work with you guys on permits. Yeah, but I mean, that's really just our, you know, best offer, because otherwise it's hard for us to convince, you know, our fellow mayors and also the constituents. You know, it's going to be hard to get permits, and it'll bring up the litigation, and you know, it'll be a bad press. It's just going to be difficult for everyone. So.
Well, yeah, if the construction stops, then what's going to happen with the temporary workers that we just hired?
I mean,
the 10,000 of them.
I mean, it's not our concern. Yeah.
But they're coming from your cities mainly.
But I mean, according to the information we have, it's not of our concern. So.
Okay. Yeah, we really do want to work together. I do want to put
exactly.
I do want to put a better light on
the
Mouse.
Same page. Yeah. I mean, we did.
But I feel like there's a lot of animosity towards Mouse that's being projected. And
well, I mean,
we don't want to stop construction. We don't want to stop construction. We do want to work together on something. We might have to circle back on this.
Sure. I mean, I'm saying this is what what we are expecting, the 4 mayors. But you are more than welcome to go back to talk to the national government, maybe to work on how to share the revenue. I mean, how to basically provide revenue together. I mean, or provide some other benefits. I mean, I don't know, but that's.
Yeah, I think we should discuss that with them too. We're discussing that with them. We're just having a meeting with them tomorrow.